DMase, Vingan and Donick, 1025 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and Connor Newt here with you. We hope you are having a wonderful Friday. Another beautiful day in our fair city. Of course, we will discuss the Tennessee Titans waking up this morning and choosing violence. But before we get to that, there is some Tennessee Titans breaking news to discuss. It broke within the past hour. Peter Skoronski has signed a 4-year, $100 million deal for those of you out there who are not great with math. I'm sort of in that boat. $25 million a year. So 4 years, $100 million.
Gonzi preach, and even before that, um, the brass at hand preached the same thing: draft and develop and re-sign players. Well, the Titans have done it several times with said players, and the most recent now is Peter Skoronski, who, when he got drafted, it was like, "Why you draft a guard? It's just, why you don't spend?" Well, this is a two contract guard that is continuing to get better. This is why you draft guards, because it's not for the right now, it's for the immediate future, meaning 2-3 years down the line. It's not about right now. If he plays great right now when we draft him, that's icing on the cake. But good organizations develop their guys and then re-sign them. And it seems that's what the Tennessee Titans are doing. They're taking a guy that they drafted 10th overall, I believe. Was he 10th?
11th.
11th overall at guard. And he's developed into a damn near all-pro player. And he was rewarded with a hefty contract. So for those that said, draft guard worth it, is it worth it now? Because he's we assume no injuries. He's going to be your guard for the next 7 years. So tell me that wasn't worth it now. I think it was worth it. And you want to continue to build on, Skoronski, and then hopefully JC, and then maybe, Coogan or Slater or one of those guys that can also develop as young players.
Look, I think based on how poorly the Titans have drafted, when you look at that as the backdrop, this is a grand slam, right? Regardless of what position he plays. But I agree with Derek. If you get a frontline player at any position with the 11th pick in the draft, then you can't complain. I know that there are some that are idealists that think that every team who drafts in the first 10 or 11 picks a guy at a premium position that's an all-pro every year. But we know that that's not the case. So Peter Skoronski is a big success story. And I think he would have gotten better quicker had he not had the really tough appendectomy that really made it tough for him his first year to excel. That set him back. So I think I give him a lot of credit for turning himself into the player that the Titans hoped he would be.
This is the second market resetting contract signed by the Tennessee Titans this summer. Of course, Jeffrey Simmons re-signed a couple of months ago. Again, the details of Skoronski's contract, the reported details: 4 years, $100 million, including $88 million guaranteed. He is now the highest average paid NFL guard. According to SpotTrack, the reported $80 million in guarantee is the most all time for a guard by nearly $10 million. Also from SpotTrack, the Titans have now added $384 million in contract guarantees this offseason via free agency or internal extensions, second only to the Chiefs, with Mahomes in parentheses. And as we talked about the other day, with the Tarek Skubal trade to the LA Dodgers and the advantages that the LA Dodgers have over other Major League Baseball teams, resources do not equal competence. You can be the LA Dodgers or, sorry, Willie, the New York Mets. So we hope that the Titans spending all of this money are closer to the Dodgers than the Mets. But
they got a long way to go.
Yes, they got a long way to go.
I mean, the Titans haven't been great either lately.
Well, I think the Dodgers are in a different. It's not apples to apples because there's no salary cap,
of course,
in baseball. And the Dodgers have the extra resources.
The general premise, though, that just because you have the resources and you can spend a lot of money doesn't mean that you know what you're doing.
Well, it's never good to spend that money. That's usually an indicator that things aren't good in terms of free agency. I think you want to be doing what they did with Skoronski and with Simmons, because that's just simply locking up really good players. The problem is those are the only two really good players that they've drafted over the last, 8 drafts. The only guys that they've really reinvested in on any level.
Now, they could have reinvested on some other guys, but they chose not to.
Right, because why? They weren't that good.
They didn't have anybody to
reinvest in, really.
I thought Corey Davis should have been a reinvestment.
Oh, but he's before the era that I'm talking about. Okay. Simmons was drafted in 2019, the year that the draft was here in Nashville.
I think Chigakonkwo, under a different offense, showed that maybe he wouldn't have gotten the money that the Commanders gave him. I think it's the Commanders he's with, that the Commanders gave him, but he still was a guy that under a different offense, you could see them potentially re-signing him because he had proven. Now, they probably needed a top-flight tight end, another one, but he did prove enough where if you're re-signing him not to a mega or a huge contract, that would have been feasible if they wanted to. But I thought he played well enough to earn another contract.
And he did with Washington,
with somebody else.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
It just wasn't the Titans. So 2019, they drafted Jeffrey Simmons, A.J. Brown, Amani Hooker. So Hooker,
it's the second contract.
They have gotten reinvested in. We know what they did with A.J. Brown when it was time to reinvest. They traded him instead. Last really good draft they had. And then since 2020, and of course, the last 2 drafts since Borgonzi has been there, the jury's out. Hopefully there's guys that will end up getting to this spot.
More
right?
second
That's
contract
what you want,
guys.
second contract guys. But we know the drought. It's a well-told story. And you're right. There's some guys that maybe they could have debated that they wanted to keep, and Chig would be one of them. But you want it to be a no-brainer, like Skoronski and Simmons. You need to end up with a bigger nucleus than they have right now. And therefore, the only other way you can get players is to overspend on free agents that are flawed guys. And it's always mixed results. And it certainly has been with the guys that they've spent that money on so far.
According to our friend Teron Davenport, Peter Skoronski logged 1,004 snaps last season, the only Titans offensive player to play 100% of the team snaps and established himself as one of the NFL's top pass blockers following a significant improvement from his rookie and sophomore seasons. He recorded a 96% pass block win rate in 2025, finishing tied for 4th overall among interior linemen. So we will take your thoughts. 615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHunting.com on Peter Skoronsky. But okay.
No. Go ahead. Say what you said. I'm sorry.
I was gonna pivot here.
Well, before you pivot,
Yeah, I wanted to say something quickly.
Go, please.
About that.
Please.
This should be moving forward because I know the fan base, and rightfully so, the Titans don't like spending money or they don't sign their own players. This should be encouragement for you. And it should be encouragement for guys on the team because, for some years you could say they didn't give anybody second contracts that they drafted and they didn't develop them. But now you can start seeing the development. And now other guys see that, okay, if I play and develop, I can get a huge contract like Jeffrey Simmons, a record-setting contract like Jeffrey Simmons, or a record contract because what showing you is that she will pay top dollar for her marquee guy. He's done.
Can't win unless you draft those guys and pay those guys. That's the issue in baseball is the smaller market teams, while they have found a way to survive, like the Tampa Bay Rays, the Milwaukee Brewers would be the best at it, and you can see where they are currently. But they draft and develop those guys, and then they have to trade them. They can't afford the big second unrestricted free agent type contract. In the NFL, because of the salary cap, I don't think there's any reason that any team, regardless of big market or small market, because of the revenue that the league generates and the revenue sharing, you should be able to lock down the guys you want to lock down. The Titans' problem isn't that they don't have any money, even though they're not as cash rich as Dallas or some of the other teams, but they haven't drafted enough guys that you want to invest in. Now, the next guys that are key to me that are coming up is J.C. Latham, a guy that they end up reinvesting in. That's huge. If he doesn't, if they don't think he's good enough to do that, that would be a tough blow, right? That is a guy that they really need to be worthy of a contract. Maybe not the highest paid guy at his position like Skoronsky, but a guy that you want to be the guy, right? That would be a huge one. Cedric Gray is another one that I'm looking at.
He's really the guy that's looking to, reach a contract or sign another contract. The Titans are like going to have another next year.
Then there's those secondary guys like Tajay Spears, James Williams. That would be a little bit more like an Imani Hooker, where you'd rather have your guy, not the else guy. That's what Floyd Reese used to always say. I want my guys. If I can just keep my guys, we'll be all right. Floyd Reese, though, the guys.
Yeah.
This last regime before Borgonzi, the well went dry. Like not just dry, but like 0 drops, other than one or two exceptions. They've got to get that well filled back up.
Maddie says they should have reinvested in Derrick Henry. Yes, I'm still bitter. Smiley face.
Right? Just not for the third contract. They reinvested a couple times on Henry. They paid him a ton of money.
Yeah. One text. Other also one. I mean, they do need to win too. But I understand Rick's point. If you are a current member of the Tennessee Titans and you see Amy Adams-Strunk taking care of her own, serve as motivation because you too will get paid. 615-737-1025. One texter says, do you guys think that J.C. Latham were to be drafted by another team that actually had good momentum like the Rams, we would see a different J.C. Latham? I'm not sure exactly if I understand the
Tennessee fan. If he got drafted by a team like Rams, who good, his line seems to be good as well, would we already see that development?
Okay, you guys think that J.C. Latham were to be drafted by another team that actually had good momentum
Mhm.
like the Rams, would we see a different J.C. Latham?
Well,
It's a possibility.
possibility, but
Yeah.
that's when you're the 7th pick in the draft, you're going to a team that
It's
is
bad.
very good.
Yeah.
You're saying if he'd have been a lower first round pick and surrounded by better players, maybe. Very young for his draft class, right? 21, and injuries, and on a not supported by
Mhm.
a lot of good players around him. That has made his job tougher.
You could say the same thing about Peter Skoronski.
Yeah.
And yet, he
He-
has thrived.
He's thrived.
He has thrived, and now he has cashed in 615-737-1025. Don't worry, we will get to Iraq. That was the biggest. That was the biggest news of the Peter
Yes.
Skoronski.
I want to ask you, like, when we get to this, I just want to know how people rank the importance of this. That was like, I've on up
on T-Rex. Are going to like it. 7 what a phone and text lines are driven by Wilson County Hunt. Buddy will join us. We'll ask him about Peter Skoronski's new deal. Ask him about T-Rex. With our buddy Chad. 737-1025. Yeah. Phil Sounds take on the Memphis Redbirds. First pitch is at 7:05. Catch all of the action on 94.9, presented by Leisure, Maple Street Biscuit Company, and Social Cantina. DMase, Vingan, and Donick, 1025 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. I'm in charge of music today. The theme. Opening themes from 2000s teen dramas. Any guesses?
This is somewhere in California.
That's true. That it did.
Well, I'm going to take a guess then.
Go ahead.
The OC?
Bingo.
Okay.
There we go.
You got it.
These will be shows that I was probably aware of but didn't dive into. But I'm hoping there's one.
I watched
Perhaps your daughter watched them at some point.
No. That was you'd be missing her. She has a birthday this weekend, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday, Abby. How old?
24.
Okay.
Yes.
She was a little too young.
Yeah. So OC is what, early 2000s?
Yes. Right? Yes, that's true. All right. Well, you're 1 for 1, guys. Good job. Let's go to our phone line. Wilson County, Hunter.com, and welcome our buddy Chad Withrow. Chad, how are you?
I'm doing well. First off, happy birthday to Abby. I have an Abby myself, and I'm getting ready to watch her play middle school volleyball. And guys, Christian school. So that is where I'm doing this interview right now. I have never seen an episode of the OC, and I knew exactly that theme song. That's how easy that one was. That was very easy. Even though I've never seen the show.
They might get tougher. So we'll see how Willie and Derek do throughout the remainder of the show. But Chad, let's start off by talking about the big breaking news for the Tennessee Titans. Makeover.
Wow.
Yes.
Chad.
The thing that Titans concern themselves with this for is free of care about. I didn't about the video that made very because I cared all about Iraq. It's just something about the social media with that team and what they prioritize that really bothers me to my core. And I can't quite describe it. Maybe I'm just being a field man, this guys, but I got legitimately angry when I saw the video. And it's not because James T-Rack all here T-Rack. I consider top guys. Sport and the NFL anything. But something about the video that was a priority to announce that the make complete with the ending Iraq during camp. I was bothered, boys.
You don't like T-Rex gentle eyes now?
I don't like it. The raccoon is an animal, right? Isn't that well, okay? So I'm happy. I don't say the animal of Texas is, but I was expecting Amy strong to change to that because she wants to do it.
Right.
I was going to do the big reveal. Now, say, hey, we're changing the animal completely, and we're going away from the Tennessee State animal and the raccoon and going to something else. But instead, it was a glow for T-Rack, and I was bothered by it, and I can't quite explain why.
One of the state animals of Texas is the 9-banded armadillo. So it could have been an armadillo instead of a raccoon. But Chad, I think when I mistake waiting into social media in the immediate aftermath of this announcement, and I think a lot of Titans fans who are upset about this, their point is it's yet another erasure of something that made the Tennessee Titans the Tennessee Titans. The uniform rebranding, the new stadium, now the mascot gets a glow up. Like it's just another example of the Titans forgetting their past. Do you see any reason to believe that?
Well, also knowing that the armadillo is a state animal of Texas makes the Texas State Armadillos from Necessary Roughness a lot more. I understand it more now with that mascot. A great movie, by the way. Do you guys remember New Coke?
Yes.
That happened?
Oh yeah. Yes.
I don't want to say that the Tennessee Titans are Coca-Cola. I wouldn't say that it's that great of an organization or a brand, but there are times where you need to value what made you successful in the first place. And I think the Titans have just completely lost focus of that. This is a team that when they moved here, and DMase knows this, Willie certainly knows this, being around the move from Houston to here, I mean, this is a grassroots thing. Just getting the team here was done with local people in this community. They put an emphasis on the Mid-South. Mike Keith takes that job, and they're on the caravan going into southern Indiana and throughout the state of Kentucky and into Arkansas and Alabama and Mississippi, and really just canvassing the state of Tennessee and trying to make this a thing, a regional thing with the Tennessee Titans. And there are a lot of fans from that original era that value their time with the team and that value that original Titans brand and what it was. And this is the sense that I get from the Tennessee Titans. And they would never say this, and maybe they don't feel this way, but it does feel like the longtime fans, the older fans, they're getting left behind a bit because the Titans don't really care about you that much. They want younger people. And look, every company wants to try to get the younger demographic. They want people to spend money with them for a longer period of time. It's understandable. But when you completely neglect the older fans and you throw out your old ways for new ways and new branding and everything else, I get it, guys, when fans feel like they're being left behind and that they don't care, their team doesn't care about them as much anymore. I kind of get the same sense. I get the same sense with a lot of different decisions the Titans have made. And if you want to, I laugh as I say this, but if you want to put the redressing of the raccoon on this long list of things where the Titans don't care about older fans or older traditions, yeah, go ahead and add it to the list because it keeps piling up.
Now, Chad, that is, and you make a good point because that's why I was so disappointed with the jersey because not that they necessarily, went more Houston, but that they totally went away from, what the Tennessee Titans were. And I just think they, at times, I'm not sure if it's a well thought out thing in regards to how do we keep our old, fans still engaged with us while we're growing and changing.
Yeah, if you're going to point to any golden era of the Titans, right? It's like 99 to 05, 06, right around there. And I think back to those uniforms. And if I want to associate with something with a team in Nashville, I want to associate with the golden years of that team in Nashville. I don't want to associate with the golden years of Love You Blue and the Houston Oilers. I do not care about the Houston Oilers. I have never cared about the Houston Oilers. I grew up in Nashville. I was a 49ers fan as a kid because that's what I saw on TV all the time, and they won. And I love Steve Young and Joe Montana and Jerry Rice and those teams. But when the Titans moved here, I became a Titans fan, like so many Middle Tennesseans, and I associate the Titans with Derek Mason and Steve McNair and Frank Wycheck and Eddie George and Bruce Matthews and go down the list of those original Tennessee Titans uniforms. I was in the building to watch the Titans play the Cincinnati Bengals that first game in 1999 in what was then Adelphia Coliseum. And I don't think the Tennessee Titans care at all about that. I don't think they care about me. I don't think they care that much about people who feel that passionately about that era. It's all about the new. It's all about people who have moved to Nashville since then. That's the market they're trying to capture. And I think, DMase, when you do that all the time, you start to separate from your original fan base. And I think it's a shame because there is some really good history with this team that needs to be honored more.
Now, we've talked a lot about Saleh and how important it's going to be that he get this team back to some winning ways. And we never really go, or we haven't, at least in a while, gone in depth with Brian Daboll because he's tasked, I think, with something greater than Brian Saleh. Saleh. And that is to, develop the quarterback and make this offense a top 10 offense. So with that being said, do you think the pressure is more so on Daboll and not necessarily Saleh in the big scheme of things?
It's a great question. I think the pressure's on Saleh ultimately, but I'll even shift it a little bit and say the pressure's on Cam Ward. And this is the reason why. Brian Daboll is a proven commodity as an offensive coordinator in this league. He was not a great head coach, right? He got fired for a reason. Robert Saleh's got some proving to do as a head coach also. Cam Ward is the guy who ultimately has the most to prove because he didn't really do anything in year one. Now, he had a bad offensive line in front of him. He didn't have any weapons. We know all the issues with the Titans, but he didn't really help himself either. But now that he's been paired with a competent offensive coordinator that's done it before, the excuses are out the window. I know that Cam Ward needs to have a good season and show a ton of improvement if the Titans are going to be able to rely on him to be the franchise guy that they believe he could be for this team. And if he can't do that, I don't think people are going to look at Brian Daboll and say, well, you're the problem. You don't know how to work this guy. You don't know how to construct an offense. Because we know that he does. We know that he can run an offense around a great quarterback the way he did with Josh Allen and the Bills. He can do that for a really good quarterback. Now it's on Cam Ward to prove that he is that quarterback. And yes, there is pressure on Brian Daboll, but I just think the mere presence of Daboll puts even more pressure on Cam Ward.
We're talking to Chad Withrow. Chad, a couple of SEC questions to get that college blood flowing here as we get going. You and I had a good conversation last year in the anticipation of what we were going to see from Arch Manning. What about this year? Because as crazy as it sounds, it almost was like second half of the season, he was under the radar doing some good things, and they didn't end up making the playoffs, so we never saw him on the big stage. So he got labeled early as, overhyped. He wasn't as good as people thought. What about this year?
I think that the bowl game where he was great, but that win over Texas A&M and their rival late in the year. I think the Friday after Thanksgiving, Willie that kind of got swept under the rug because of the early struggles. Right, it was they're not a national championship contender. He's disappointment. He wasn't great early in the year, but he did get better and better as the year went on. I mean, look, I think expectations. It feels like this year the expectations are where they should be, and a year ago they were too high. A year ago, we're probably a year ahead of ourselves on what he should be. I think any type of prediction about Heisman Trophy or him being truly great, it's fair this year. That should be the expectation for Arch Manning. We got ahead of ourselves a year ago, but what I saw in the back half of that season and what he was able to do against A&M and with some big plays, what he was able to do against that bowl game, I think that should be a preview to what it's going to look like this year. And he's got a ton of talent on offense around him. Kind of like Cam Ward, there's no excuses for him not to take off this season. That's the way I look at Arch Manning. And I do think he's a legitimate Heisman Trophy contender. And I saw enough to know that he should be great. Now, he's not like the other Mannings in his ability to run. So it's going to be a little bit different in how he compiles stats and gets things going. But I think any type of superlative or huge expectation you throw out for him this year is all fair.
How many in this whole thing of, hey, the SEC wants to get back on top. They haven't won the last 3 national titles. Let's say Texas for sure is one of the candidates to win the whole thing. How many others are in the SEC that you think could win the whole thing?
Georgia. I put Georgia in that list for sure. Texas, Georgia would be the top 2. Of the others that could sneak in there and maybe win it all, see, I think that I'm thinking of more like, this team could be a sneaky playoff team. I would put like an Alabama and a Tennessee in that mix. If things break right, they could be a back end playoff team this year, but neither one of those teams are going to win a national title. I think Ole Miss. If I had to throw one other one in there, and just Trinidad Chambliss coming back and who they have coming back on a team that made it to the semis a year ago, I got to put them on the list of a team that could surprise and be a possible national champion out of the SEC. But if you're asking me to pick, it's Georgia 1, Texas 2, drop off, Ole Miss 3 would be the next one I'd go to that could win it all.
What a wild card team that I think could be really good, or in turmoil again, is LSU. What's your best guess? Because there's so many new guys involved, and you've got the Lane Kiffin factor. What's the reasonable expectation in your mind for them?
It's kind of the Arch Manning deal again in terms of expectations. I mean, expectations to me are rightfully through the roof. That they're spending a ton of money on that roster. They've got Sam Levitt, who's a proven commodity with what he did at Arizona State. Yes, it's a ton of new guys, but college football is showing year after year you can bring in a bunch of new guys, and if you've got good coaching, they can get together quickly and be a really good team right away. Indiana's done it. Other teams have done it over the years. I think Lane Kiffin has that ability. Yeah, I would put LSU right behind an Ole Miss as a team that could win it all, but they're certainly loaded with talent. I'm just skeptical that it all comes together perfectly in year one with this group, but I do think they're going to be really good.
Who do you think the league is getting better at spending their money smarter? It's never going to be about resources. We know the arms race will always be there in the SEC. They've got the depth. Everybody's got resources. But I think look about ball. These were one of the few teams were starting off with a lot of these money ball principles, and then the next thing you know, 5 years later, everybody was incorporating those principles. Do you think that is going to happen in the NIL era?
Yes, I think someone's going to figure it out better than others. Two examples I'll use. I think he's smarter than anyone allocation. And look, they spend as much as anybody, and they're spending a lot of money, but they're so smart with how they spend it, and guys that match with Kurt Signetti and what he's doing, and they really have a personality on that team they're going for, and they've got it down. I would put Vanderbilt in that category of smart spending the last 2 years. Go and get a really old offensive line from the smaller school ranks at times to come in that were great players there and build a really good offensive line that way. I think Vandy, from just an intelligence of how you allocate the money, has done a really nice job. Now they're flipping that a bit with spending so big on the freshman quarterback. That's number one in the country, so that's going to be a little bit different for them. I think Vandy's a contender to be a really smart spender. When it comes to like LSU and Ole Miss and Tennessee, even some of these kind of freewheeling, free spending type programs, I don't know. I think you just got to hit it right. You need to have a plan and a formula, but it's just all got to come together at the right time. But Willie, I don't think anybody's doing it at the level Indiana's doing it. If I'm looking at SEC teams, that's the one I point to and say, give me whatever they're doing in their system, and that's how I want to do it. It's why I think Josh Heupel's hiring of their strength coach and their entire strength staff was such a smart hire for Tennessee.
Now, what do you make of Nick Saban sort of dumbing down or lowering the standards for Alabama football? Paul Feinbaum didn't like it one bit, but I was wondering, what do you think about that? Because Alabama's been number one for so long, and now all of a sudden it's, oh, well, this has to happen and this is going on. Personally, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, look, I think Nick Saban would love, for Alabama just to keep rolling and winning at the rate he was winning at with whoever took over. But the reality is this: Nick Saban is the greatest coach of all time in college football. And yes, the brand matters and the program matters and all that. And Alabama's got a great history and tradition. And when you match those two up, you're going to have results like that. So the program does matter, but Nick Saban ain't walking through that door anytime soon for Alabama. They were going to take a step back. They are just like now a lot of other programs in the SEC. They're not special. They're really good. It's a historically great program, and it's a great job for someone. But when you throw them in the mix with Georgia and Texas and LSU and Ole Miss with what they're spending, Florida when they get it right, Tennessee, that there's nothing overly special about Alabama. They got the tradition. They got a lot of national titles. But what made them special was Nick Saban. And I think Nick Saban, he knows that. He does a good job of not sounding egotistical on air when he talks about it. But his admission that their standards have fallen, DMase, is an admission that he is great. And they were going to fall no matter who took the job, because there was no way that person was going to be as good as him at leading that program. And you know what? He's right. No one is going to be as good as him at leading that program. And Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. He's not Nick Saban. And Alabama fans are finding that out.
Chad Withrow has been our guest on DMase, Vingan and Donick. He joins us every Friday. Chad, as always, a pleasure. Good luck to your daughter today. We'll talk to you next week.
6th grade volleyball. It's a fantastic action, guys. Talk to you next week.
Let's go. 737-1025. By the way, at the top of the hour, Brian Costello of the New York Post will join the program. He was in town earlier this week and sat down for an exclusive interview with Saleh. Really good story at the New York Post. So we'll get Costello's thoughts on Saleh's second chance here in Tennessee at the top of the hour. 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game.
Oh, this is
DMase, Bing and Adonis, 1025 the game. Come on.
this is the young man just passed away.
Yes,
Didn't he? Yeah, he
James
just passed away.
James
Yes,
Vanderbeek?
exactly.
All right.
Absolutely.
What is it?
What is
2000s teen drama theme songs.
Gosh.
Not a
What
river,
you call it?
not a river, but a
Lake.
keep going.
Dawson Lake. Dawson Lake.
Dawson's Creek.
Creek. Dawson's Creek. Yeah, not Dawson's Lake. Dawson's Creek.
I'm accepting Dawson's Lake, so
Okay.
I'm going to say
No, it's Dawson's Creek.
it is Dawson's Creek.
I was thinking of what you call it, old wife.
Katie Holmes.
No,
Ricky
yeah,
Lake?
Katie Holmes. Yeah,
Yeah,
Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah,
Yes, she was on Dawson's Creek,
Yeah.
if memory serves.
I have no idea what this is.
you should go back and look at it. It's on Netflix or something.
I actually did watch that show.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. Well, good.
I look back and I'm like, was that good? Was it? Very,
Even watch it.
I know that's kind of
I'm going to for two. I'm not going to give you credit. Credit.
Are we a team or
How
what?
about Marshall?
Exactly. He knew it.
Should have said it. I
Said
did.
Dawson.
Dawson's Lake.
Said not Lake, but
I'll split it down the middle. I'll call it half credit.
No.
What?
Points and data. That was an easy one.
Yeah, I guessed it, man. It said the guy's name.
We'll consider the scoring system as the show continues. But this morning, yesterday, I went to practice. It was one of the practices that was open to fans. And as I was walking in, I saw T-Rack, and T-Rack was doing his thing. And I guess over the past couple of days, the Tennessee Titans sent old T-Rack up to the farm because earlier today announced the transformation of T-Rack. Some would say a new and improved T-Rack, including me, because I'm glad the Tennessee Titans dumped T-Rack's Times Square mascot looking ass in the trash where raccoons belong. Okay? The old T-Rack looked like a combination of the Hamburglar and an Animorph. All right?
Mhm.
And I know people are upset about this. The new T-Rack actually looks like a raccoon. Sidebar, I can't remember the last time I actually saw a raccoon. I know raccoons are the state animal of Tennessee, but I can't remember the last time I saw a living or dead raccoon near me. But I digress. But
Wait, I have one question.
yes,
I know the Hamburglar.
Yeah.
Are you unfamiliar with Animorphs?
What's an Animorph?
Animorphs is a book series, a young adult book series, science fantasy, sci-fi, whatever you want to call it. And it was about the characters like transforming from kids to animals. And they had these really strange covers where they would show the step-by-step transformation. I'm going to show you one right now. Look at the kid transforming into like a snake or a lizard or something. Like, look at those weird faces in between.
Oh,
It
man.
looked like the Hamburglar got stuck transforming into a raccoon. Is basically what I'm saying. Shout out to those of
I
you.
never thought about that, but you're right.
Shout out to those of you who read Animorphs. Also, shout out to all of you who actually read. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. We
Right.
need more actual readers. But you know what? I'm fine with the new look T-Rack. He actually looks like a raccoon. If you're going to stick with the raccoon as the mascot, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense, at least make it look like an actual raccoon. But I can understand Titans fans being upset. And I asked this to Withrow in our previous segment. I can understand it's full of the Tennessee Titans forgetting their history, changing the uniform. So long two-tone blue. Hello, Houston Oilers cosplay. So long, old mangy T-Rack. Say hello to the new and improved T-Rack. So on and so forth. So that's been the argument, I think, from Titans fans who are upset about this. It's just yet another reason or another example of the Tennessee Titans forgetting their history.
I mean, I'm not sure. I think this was more so it had for those younger fans. Making T-Rack more don't know, approachable and soft. You see the eyes, he got the eyes, man. It's like, hey, I want to give you a hug. They look, I think, well, maybe geared more towards the younger fan because listen, T-Rex, Rex, much of this back when I'm in the game or I'm watching the game. You never forget T-Rex down, dude. But, that's great. These changes now, at least with T-Rex, I think it's more so for the younger fan. Yeah, made a great point. It's like, and Chad did it too. It's like you're moving, and this is what my whole thing on the jerseys in the new jerseys. I like the new jerseys. I do. Great color combination. Thing about it, but it does seem like you're trying to move far away from the original Tennessee Titans when in fact that is the team that put you on the map. That is a team that made you beloved in a city that didn't have football. That's what my whole beef is with it. And it's a small beef because, again, I like the New Jerseys and, I'm going to support the team. But, you have a point, Chad have a point. It's like the more and more they do, it seems like the further and further away they get from the actual sort of genesis of what this team was. And I know change happens. But when it seemed like you're just going completely away from everything, that's the part that, that sort of that I grapple with every now and then.
When you said when we were preparing for the show this morning and you saw this, Adam, that people were upset, I read the comments under that. I was really surprised how many people were like, go back, don't do this. Like, go back to the old. I was surprised. I've always felt like the NFL mascots aren't as big as a baseball mascot or
college.
Oh, college for sure. Mm-hmm. But even NBA, NHL, where there's more games, there's more for them to do. Like the NFL, I can't identify that many of the mascots like I can for the baseball. And the other observation I would have about this redo or whatever is he doesn't look like a football player. He doesn't look like a guy you'd want on your football team.
Did the other T-Rack look like a football player?
He looked a little mischievous, like up to no good. Guy looks like the little cuddly.
Yeah, they soften the eyes, man. Look at the eyes.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what the look is.
I guess that's what you're going for, Willie. Just come and hug me. Just come and hug me. No fight. I don't want to fight. Don't want to dig in your trash. Just come and hug me. That's basically what it is. Which I get it.
I wonder in a couple days, are people going to really care when this version of T-Rack walks out? Are people going to be like, boo? I don't know. Like,
I hope they don't.
Will we find out tonight at the scrimmage at Nissan Stadium? Will the new T-Rack be pelted with garbage?
It's still fresh. It's still fresh.
The raccoon might like that, actually. Raccoons like
don't
garbage.
Boo T-Rack. Don't do that.
No, I see. I don't think it's a big thing either way. I would say that generally speaking on social media, there's nothing that people who are trolls like to do more than rip on a new jersey or a new look because it's foreign. It's that's bad. Why do they do that? It's terrible. I think that's usually what you hear from the vocal minority. Never a huge fan of the first look. This doesn't improve it much. I'm just kind of meh on the history of T-Rack.
Did he change his signature? Because on this new thing, the signature seemed like it's changed. It's the meshing of the P and the R.
I can't pretend to care or know whether T-Rex signature is changed.
I think his signature changed, man.
Okay, we'll have to do some studying. Let's our full line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. T-Rack for calling. Go ahead.
How you doing? Man, listen, I'm kind of with Derek Mason on this. I'm like, I just kind of, even just going back to, I'm going to talk about T-Rack in a minute, but you're just going to go into the uniform. When I look at footage of them out on the field practice, they don't look like the Titans. They don't feel like the Titans to me. And I've been trying to, it's been some time now. I've trying to, look on the bright side and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm forcing myself, but no matter how much I force myself, it just don't feel like the site. And then even, waking up this morning and seeing what they did to me, right? It just really seems like they're moving away from, what we know as the Titans. I just hope it end up being one of those things, kind of like the Atlanta Falcons, right? You know how like every 5 years they're like, oh, they got the red uniform, and then they go back to the black, and then they go back to the red. I really hope at some point, maybe 4 years from now, we change again. We go back to something more familiar because this can't be it, man. This can't be it.
Thank you, T Mac. 615-737-1025. If you do have thoughts on the new and I say improved T Rack, 15737-1025. We will get to that reaction in a little bit. But coming up next, Brian Costello of the New York Post will join the program. He was in town earlier this week, had an exclusive interview with Robert Saleh and Brian Dable. So we will talk to Brian Costello about both men. Up next, 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. DMase, Vingan and Donick, 1025 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and Connor Newt here with you. Let's go to our phone line, driven by Wilson County, Hunter.com, and welcome in senior sports reporter for the New York Post, Brian Costello. Hi, Brian. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me.
So, Brian, earlier this week, you were here in Nashville to catch up with Robert Saleh as he prepares, one, to face the Jets in week 1 of the NFL season, and two, he's preparing, of course, now that he has a second chance as an NFL head coach. You've covered the Jets for about 15 years, so you covered Robert Saleh's tenure in New York. When you were with Saleh earlier this week, did you sense anything different about him as he prepares for that second chance as an NFL head coach?
Yeah, I sense something different from the guy I met in 2021 when he was initially the coach with the Jets, where he's a lot more comfortable. He kind of knows the lay of the land now as a head coach. I think everyone thinks they're ready to be a head coach when they're a good coordinator, and then they don't realize everything that comes with that job. Like there's a lot that goes into that more than just coaching football. And I think Saleh wasn't really ready for that when he took over the Jets job. And I don't think many people are ready for that as first-time coaches, but now he knows kind of what the job entails, and I think he's ready. He's embracing that part of it, and I think he's excited to have a second chance.
What would you say, Brian, are valid criticisms of Saleh's Jets tenure, and how do you anticipate him approaching those areas this time based on your conversation with him the other day?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for Saleh was quarterback here. That was really the biggest problem. So it's not really a criticism of him. I think he's learned a little bit about having more experienced assistant coaches. Like it stood out to me that he has Brian Dable, now Gus Bradley, and John Fossil as his coordinators, right? Those are three guys who've been around for a long time. They've all been head coaches. Fossil even was an interim coach. When he was with the Jets, he had some very inexperienced assistant coaches at the beginning, especially at the beginning. He kind of adjusted as he went along, but I think he surrounded himself with better people this time. I think he's probably learned how to handle the media a little bit better. He wasn't great with that here at the beginning. I think he tried to make everyone happy here, and I think he realizes that's not going to happen. I do think he's calling the plays on the defense, right? I think that's what he said at the beginning at his introductory press conference. He didn't call the defense here, and I always think that's kind of a weird thing for the coach because they get the job because of X's and O's, right? You're not becoming a head coach if you're not a good coordinator. And we have it here with the Jets right now with Glenn. He didn't call the plays his first year. He's now calling the plays in his second year. I think it's a smart thing. Saleh didn't do that here. But he's a very good defensive coach, and to take that away seems kind of silly. So I think that's a big adjustment I've seen from him.
Brian Costello is with us from the New York Post. He was here in Nashville earlier this week, had an exclusive sit-down with Robert Saleh. You also caught up, Brian, with Brian Dable during your visit here to Nashville. Both men were, let's put it bluntly, chewed up and spit out by the New York market. What do you think of the pairing of Saleh and Dable on the same staff?
Yeah, it's very funny from the New York perspective, right? These were two guys that were the head coaches here, the two teams for the last few years. I think it's a good pairing because I do think, Saleh joked to me at one point. He said, you could say how I got the offense right with the Jets, it would have worked out better. And you can argue with Dable, if they got the defense right, it would have worked out a lot better. So they kind of paired up now. And I think it's good, like I said, Saleh with calling the defense. He needs a strong offensive coordinator that he can sort of let them do his thing and not have to be so involved in that side of the ball. And Dable, before he was the Giants coach, he was the Bills offensive coordinator. And as covering the Jets, I saw him twice a year. He was a very good coordinator, and he did a really good job up there. I know everyone goes, oh, we had Josh Allen, but even before he had Josh Allen, I can remember a game he had Matt Barkley as his quarterback, and he really torched the Jets, and it was an impressive performance by him. So I think they're a good pairing for each other in that they have different strengths on the other side of the ball. I also think Dable can help Saleh because he's been the head coach. Gus Bradley too, like they can help him through some of this stuff, and they can be sounding boards for him on head coaching decisions.
We're talking with Brian Costello, senior sports reporter for the New York Post. Now, Brian, talking to Saleh, it seemed like he was very measured in how he spoke about the New York Jets and his experience there.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a sense of, hey, listen, yeah, I know you're speaking very carefully, but every place isn't like the Jets. And, when he went off, I think spent a small stint with Green Bay for a second before he went to San Fran. Understood that. Like every place isn't like the Jets. Did you from him?
Yeah, I think he knows that, and I think he's interested in the differences. He told me at one point that in Tennessee there's been a lot more football questions than he got in New York, because in New York it's a lot more about the drama, and there was a lot of drama here when Sal was here, because obviously like they drafted Wilson in his first season, so he was a rookie quarterback here, and he watched it the second year, then they make the trade for Aaron Rodgers, and he gets hurt in the first game. There was a ton of drama with when Sal was here. I think he's enjoying so far drama in Tennessee, and I think I think he knows it's a different market, and it's not. I tell people though, like people talk about the New York media or the New York market, and DMase can attest to this because you were here for a minute. It's different in that it's different. Like there's a little more. There's more of us in some markets. Although I saw a lot of people there when I was up in Tennessee. It's a little different. Just the kind of the volume is a little louder, and also like we have like page 6 at my newspaper. Like if the head quarterback's going out for a dinner, it ends up in the paper the next day. If he's eating in Manhattan, like I don't know, sure that happens in every market. So it's a little different that way. But the football aspect of it, to me, it's the same in New York, it's the same in Nashville, it's the same in Jacksonville, it's the same in Denver. Like if you stink it up out there, the fans and the media are going to get on you. And so it doesn't really matter where you are in that aspect. So I think he knows that.
Now, do you get a sense of, in talking with Dabo, some things he may have learned with his stint with the Giants? Because, like Saleh, I think this is a critical thing for him. If indeed he wants to get hit, he can get off going and sustain.
Yeah, look, Dabo was much closer to the best talking to me than Saleh was, and I've known Saleh. I've known Dabo a long time. He was a Jets assistant in 2008. He was a quarterback coach when Brett Favre was here. So I've known him a long time, but I'm much closer to Saleh because I covered him as a head coach. So Dabo was pretty guarded about the Giants. He didn't really want to talk about his time with the Giants, but he told me, like, you learn lessons from every single place you've been. And I think he learned from the adversity that he had with the Giants, and he experience with very exciting and implement stuff that he did. John Fields was the young quarterback, and last year he got to start. I think experience with the Giants just kind of, it just didn't work out there.
Brian Costello is our guest with the New York Post. He's been writing articles about both Brian Daboll and Robert Saleh, former New York head coaches, now, of course, here in Tennessee. Brian, I'm curious. My perspective on the New York media, having grown up there when I was very young, but get a taste of it. This was before social media and all those things.
Yeah.
But, just the Bronx Zoo and all those things, that there's so much great history there of how it evolved to where it is today. But if you were to advise, someone, how would you deal with the New York media and the drama? What are some of the things that are do's and what are don'ts? Because we were reading things about Saleh, about he was kind of, chasing it a little bit, going after some people, saying, "Hey, why are you writing this or that?" Like, what's the best way to do it? Ignore it, or is it better to engage?
A little bit of both. Like, I think you have to be yourself, number one. I think the biggest mistake I've seen guys make here is they come here and they try to act like Bill Belichick, or they try to act like Bill Parcells, or they try to act like whoever their mentor is, right? And I think you have to really be yourself. I do think developing a relationship with is smart and good, but you can't get caught up on every single thing that's written about you. Like, you'll drive yourself crazy. Like, you've gotta turn the noise off and not listen to everything that's said or written about you here, because it's a lot. And whether it's the print media or the talk radio stations, and like we have back pages where like you could end up in a clown suit, stuff like that. Like, there's some crazy stuff here. So you can't get too bogged down on it, but I do think it's important
as a beat writer, I think it's a good idea to have a relationship rather than not have a relationship with people that cover your team every day. And I think the new challenge for guys is to understand the differences in the jobs, right? Like there's a lot of people who are content creators now and they do a great job with that stuff, but they do a different job than I do. That I'm there every day. And so I think coaches need to recognize that too. But the biggest thing is be yourself and be as honest as you can be. Sometimes you can't tell the truth, but don't lie. Just don't answer the question if you can't tell the truth.
What do you think is fair in evaluating Robert Saleh, given Zach Wilson in particular? Because you mentioned Rodgers, but they had to go back to Zach Wilson that first year where he got hurt so early in the season. And Zach Wilson, the numbers are just so low, and he hasn't shown any signs of doing any better anywhere else. But how you watched it week to week, right? How would you evaluate what's fair and where do you think they could have been better?
It's really hard. It's really hard because he did not have one season of good quarterback play. There wasn't one. Zach, like I've covered obviously a lot of different rookie quarterbacks with the Jets because it's been well established how many guys they've drafted and stuff for years. Exactly, you could tell there was never a moment where I thought Zach Wilson was the answer for this team. So he really didn't have a lot of good moments. And then, you would have loved to have seen Saleh get a season with Rodgers. The first year he gets hurt, the second season Saleh gets fired 20 games in when Rodgers was kind of coming back from the Achilles injury that wasn't himself right away. So it's hard to evaluate, but I tell you this, guys, he can coach defense. Like there's no question about that. And what he did defensively here was really impressive. They really didn't have good players his first year. They struggled. He built that defense, and he's good at finding guys who other teams give up on and getting there. Like he got Quincy Williams was an all-pro here linebacker who the Jaguars cut, and they claimed him off waivers, and he coached linebackers really, really well. Fred Warner in San Francisco, obviously, Fred Warner wasn't a top 10 pick or anything. Like Saleh developed him, and here Quincy Williams, Jamie Sherwood played well under him, so he coached defense. The key for him is right, like how good is Cam Ward going to be, and what's Dable going to get out of him. I wouldn't worry about the defensive side of the ball. He's got to figure out now how to be the head coach. He's not. It's not like he's tunnel vision just on defense because I've covered that before here, where one guys just focus on one side of the ball. He was pretty good at seeing both sides of it, but he just needs some success offensively, and I think he can be a successful head coach.
Why do you think that the Jets pulled the plug when they did in the middle of the season when they let him go?
I think Woody Johnson had enough of Robert Saleh. Just the dynamics of this, though, you guys know, is like Woody Johnson was the ambassador of the United Kingdom in Donald Trump's first term. So he wasn't here when Saleh was hired. Saleh was hired in January of 21 here. Woody Johnson actually was on a plane coming back to the United States the day of Robert Saleh's press conference. So Woody's brother Christopher hired Robert Saleh. I'm sure Woody was somewhat involved, but he wasn't in the interviews. It wasn't his guy. So it was never his guy. I don't think Woody and Saleh really ever got along, and I think he just got tired of him, and he got frustrated. They lost a game in the rain to the Denver Broncos at home on a missed field goal, and then they lost in England to the Vikings that game, and I think Woody just had enough and pulled the plug. But in my opinion, it was too soon. Like I think he should have given Saleh that whole year to see what he could have done with healthy Aaron Rodgers, and it didn't work. The team went 12 that season, so it wasn't a good decision in my opinion. But I think it was just a personality clash there, guys, and I think Woody Johnson just had enough at that point.
Brian Costello, senior sports reporter for the New York Post, has been our guest on DMase, Vingan, and Donick. I recommend all of Brian's stories from here in Nashville. You can read them at nypost.com. Brian, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me, guys.
615-737-1025. We'll react to what Brian had to say. You can as well. 615-737-1025. Tomorrow on 1025 The Game. Catch the Arena Crown Championship as the Nashville Cats take on the Albany Firebirds at F&M Bank Arena. Easy for me to say. Is at 3 p.m. and coverage will begin at 2:30 p.m. right here only on 1025 The Game. DMase, Vingan and Donick, 1025 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. All right, I've decided retroactively to give the two of you credit for Dawson's Creek, even though Derek Mason said Dawson's Lake. So you're 2 for 2 on themes from
Dawson's Lake.
2000s teen dramas. Gavin DeGraw.
Okay, I need some hints on this show
I can't.
because I know the song, so I know right around when this song was out. But I need a clue for the show.
It's not Clueless.
It's not
It's
Clueless.
no Clueless.
Well, Clueless
Was
had
did they have a show to
it
go with
was-
the movie?
it-
The
it-
movie's more famous.
the
It was
Clueless
a show.
It was a show.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good show.
No.
But it was a show. Clueless is the best. I love that movie so
That
much.
wasn't 90210.
No, because that's not a
Yeah,
2000s teen drama.
yeah.
That's 90s.
Did it? 2000?
I
I know
think so.
it was probably pretty close,
Yeah,
but
I thought
I
it
don't
was
think it
close
quite
to
made
the
it. I don't think
yeah.
it quite made it to the 2000s.
Um,
So, all right, can we have it like who, like actor, actress?
Chad Michael Murray
That's
was
not helping me.
Chad
Yeah.
Michael Murray
not
was
helping
on this show. Who else was on this show?
so we had Dawson's Creek.
Sophia Bush was on the show.
That's what you said when you saw
Wait, Chad Michael Murray was in Dawson's Creek, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That was not Chad Michael Murray.
No.
No, you're thinking of the dude from the Mighty Ducks movies. Was in Dawson's Creek. What's his name? I can't remember it off the top of my head. With Jackson.
Well, yeah. I think Murray might have made an appearance later.
It appears he did.
Yes.
Michael Murray was a
Oh,
star on
see?
the show.
Was he in the OC?
I don't know.
I don't.
Tree
Tree Hill.
But watch that.
one.
I never watched
Oh,
I should have just thrown that out there just as
Oh, 2 for 3. You guys are doing okay. 2 out of 3. It says One Tree Hill. Good for you, Greg.
2 for 3 on
Riverdale.
This predates your existence.
I don't know what any of these
You don't get to play. Hey, by the way, be listening at the top of the hour for Ask DMase. We do have a prize associated with Ask DMase. The best question for Derek Mason, as chosen by Derek Mason. The person who asks that question will receive a 4-pack of tickets to PBR Stampede Days at Bridgestone Arena next weekend. If you want those 4-pack of tickets for Stampede Days next weekend, DMase, you can start questions now, 615-37-102. Brian Costello, senior sports reporter from the New York Post, for joining us in the previous segment. He was in town earlier this week, had a sit-down exclusive interview with Robert Saleh. Of course, he wrote about it for the New York Post. And I thought it was a really interesting read, which is why I wanted to have Brian on the show, because we so much, right? About what's Robert Saleh going to do this time to make sure what happened in New York doesn't happen here. It's one thing for us to speculate on it. It's another thing to actually hear from someone, to read someone who was there for the Robert Saleh experience in New York. For example, one of the things Brian Costello mentioned in the story is that one thing Saleh did differently this time is he actively chose to surround himself with players who know his system. He told Costello that when he came to the Jets, he deliberately stayed away from guys he knew. It was actually Rex Ryan, former Jets coach as well, who told Saleh that he should bring in players that already know his system. And we've seen that. A lot of
Big time.
former
yes.
Jets players
and Giants players.
and Giants players, in the case of Brian Daboll, on the roster. Willie, what stood out to you? One, reading the story by Brian Costello, and then talking to him just now.
I thought both Daboll and Saleh were careful not to say anything that was going to have people chirping about it up in
Exactly.
New York, right? I think they knew better than that. It's time to just kind of lay low and just do your thing here and then see what happens. Because we know week 1 when they play the Jets, you're not going to be able to avoid it, right? It's going to be a huge topic up there. So why get started now? I didn't know that it was Woody Johnson's brother that hired. I didn't know that, but that had to be something that made it even more difficult. Because what I tried to do with my questions was put yourself with somebody that was watching it every day, like Costello was, and to say, could Vince Lombardi have won with Zach Wilson as your quarterback? I don't think so. Like, name me a coach that could have won under those circumstances. Zach Wilson, the quarterback. Then you signed Aaron Rodgers. He gets hurt on the 4th play, and you're back to Zach Wilson, who's horrible. I mean, he is of the bus, other than Jamarcus Russell, who never played, and might be the worst physical quarterback of the guys who were drafted in the top 3 or 4 picks, right? I mean, I don't think you could dispute it, but that had to make his job impossible.
Yeah, that's why I asked Brian, in regards to, did he really understand? He was trying to be as careful as possible in his interviews. And I understand you don't want to, regardless of how the situation went, this is a small fraternity. You don't want to go around burning bridges with owners or anybody else. You just sort of go about the way. Hopefully, don't come out and force you to make here or there. But just how now, and when you comment from writers or people that goes in New York, how bad you get on, like, or even bad. And if you did, why are you pointing so much of the anger? But where, and he's still there. And so you wonder, he going to, we talked about, moving some of the references with because Brian, me, I'm telling very guys or guys that I had for a long time work for the facade, didn't work for Callahan around. He has had a lot of experience. I think with that experience, it takes a little bit of the stress off of him because whatever you put in the hands of these other guys, they're in capable hands because they've been there before.
Another thing that Brian Costello wrote in his story, he happened to be here on Tuesday when Jeffrey Simmons got kicked out of practice by Robert Saleh, and Costello wrote, quote, "On Tuesday, Saleh showed a disciplinarian side that some Jets fans might argue he did not show enough with the Jets."
I found that very interesting.
He threw Simmons, the all-pro defensive tackle, out of practice after Simmons threw a punch. So he just happened to be here when, according to Costello, Jets fans thought maybe Saleh wasn't enough of a disciplinarian in New York.
That's what we talked about, the whole Aaron Rodgers thing, and Aaron Rodgers and they got to bring in all people. You saw Saleh trying to answer a question about Aaron Rodgers. He really couldn't answer it.
He was in a tough spot. But there was that whole summer where Aaron Rodgers was just doing his own thing. He was not showing up to the OTAs, and Robert Saleh had to answer all of the questions. And you could tell he was like, "What do you want me to say? I can't tell the guy."
Aaron Rodgers was in Egypt. Yeah. That was what it was. He was in Egypt during either mandatory, I think it was maybe during mandatory minicamp or something like that.
They didn't get the message straight from either side, right? Aaron Rodgers didn't say anything, and Saleh was I remember him sure what the message was going to be. Hey, did you know he wasn't going to be here? It's like cryptic of whether he talked about it. It was really awkward.
And that's those situations where you make as if you don't have no control over your team whatsoever. And it's too, because I'm sure he took advantage of that. When you see your star player, sort of, shunning you in a sense, what do you think everybody else is going to do? It seemed like that locker room in that building just got kind of sideways after that whole Aaron Rodgers debacle.
And of course, just because Robert Saleh is trying to do things differently in Tennessee, he's hired an experienced staff. Maybe he's showing a little bit more of a disciplinarian side. Maybe he's going to be more careful about what he says and developing relationships with the reporters around the team, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate into more wins. Look, Robert Saleh could still struggle as head coach of the Tennessee Titans. He could still have a losing record. But here's that he's really making an effort to make sure that the same things that did not help him in New York will not be the reasons why he fails in Tennessee. He might still fail in Tennessee, but he's still, at least he's trying to not fall into the same traps.
And I think it's clear to say, I think we would all agree that Brian Callahan fell into a lot of traps.
Yes.
Before things went south, like even during, I think you look back on it, I think he tried too hard to answer all of the questions and go into great detail. And he probably said some things that didn't come across very well. I think Saleh's done a good job so far of being to the point, open, friendly. And look, they haven't had, knock on wood, they haven't had adversity yet, right? We just talked about the story yesterday. His last team, the 49ers, have 20 guys that can't practice already. Things haven't had yet. Gonna happen, right? In training, when they start losing a couple games, when it's going to be tested. That's when you're asking the questions to the right guy, and that's when I think you find out how much he's learned. But it does look like he's learned a lot from the first go round.
It will start in week 1. Jets at Titans.
Playing the Jets. Yeah.
Yes. If the Titans lose that game at home, I think we'll quickly learn how Robert Saleh is handling his second chance, because you can only imagine the reaction here and in New York.
And the Jets really aren't trying to win. Like they aren't going for it. Like you can tell they're sort of setting the table for getting a quarterback in the next draft, right? They clearly opted not to try to get a quarterback this year.
So
no offense to who's going to be taking snaps for them.
Geno Smith.
Yeah. I mean, when you he's been around the block.
Yeah.
Many times. It started in New York.
And back home. He's back home now.
Yes. 615-737-1025. We'll take your reaction to our conversation with Brian Costello of the New York Post. Again, I highly recommend the columns he wrote when he was here, both about Robert Saleh and Brian Dable. You can read them at nypost.com. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, there is a team out there that has offered a bounty for a trading card. Really interesting. My question, when we get back, I'll tell you what the offer is. And I wonder if your favorite team offered this to you, if you would take it. 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. DMase, Vingan and Donick, 1025. The game. All right. 2000s teen dramas. Round 4. Bad Reputation. Joan Jett. Now, this show premiered in, I believe, 1999, but bled into 2000.
Oh,
Shrek.
this is Shrek.
It is in Shrek.
Ronda Rousey.
Judd Apatow, I believe, produced the show, created the show. A lot of famous actors debuted on this program, including Seth Rogen,
Oh.
Jason Segel, Linda Cardellini,
Oh,
among others.
I think I know it. Now I got to remember it. Freaks and Geeks.
Bingo!
I had to get the clues. to get
Yes,
that, but
yes.
I didn't watch it.
Great show.
Didn't
Great
watch
show. All right, you guys are 3
It
for
is- it
4.
was critically acclaimed.
Yes,
I would say.
it
Yeah.
didn't last very long,
No.
but it was a
So if it was critically acclaimed, should have lasted
no,
longer.
it didn't hit. It's a cult classic.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a cult
Yeah.
classic.
All right,
And
all right.
people learned to appreciate it more
Yes, okay.
long after it was gone.
Okay.
Especially as Judd Apatow became very famous
Oh man.
and produced so many funny movies. So like The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Superbad.
Oh yeah.
you
He's
know,
got a string of them now.
all of those.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a couple of you did get Freaks and Geeks. Good job, guys. All right. So I noticed this yesterday. The Dallas Mavericks are in search of a one-of-one trading card, a one-of-one Cooper Flag Day auto card. And it's so badly, they are willing to give the following to the current holder. It is a proposed trade, so I believe
Okay.
there could be some negotiation.
Oh.
If you have this card, this one-of-one Cooper Flag debut pack autograph card, Mavericks will give you this. 2 Mavericks season premium lower level tickets for 32 years. Where's 32?
32.
32
Wow.
years. A Cooper signed game worn rookie jersey. A post game photo with Cooper Flag. A private photo shoot with the NBA Rookie of the Year trophy and Larry O'Brien championship trophy. A VIP tour of the Mavericks practice facility with a team meet and greet. Private basketball experience for up to 10 guests at American Airlines Center.
Whew.
And a road trip experience to see the Mavericks take on the Celtics, including round trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and game tickets. All of that can be yours if you have the card and you give it to the Mavericks.
Okay. I would go to my computer, tell you how much all of that
Price
stuff
is
would
right.
cost. Then we'll put names like 2 times 2 or 3, and then we'll just start talking.
Next. It's proposed a similar trade in 2024 with Paul Skeens. Same sort of card. One-of-one rookie debut patch autograph card. Received 2 season tickets and home plate for the next 30 years and a meet and greet with Skeens. Even Skeens' girlfriend, Livy Dunn, offered a seat in her suite for a game. An 11-year-old from the LA area fetched the card but declined the deal and sold it at auction for $1.11 million.
See what I can get for that auction first. Before
I
do
think you
anything.
can more for a Cooper Flag
Yeah.
one-of-one debut rookie card.
I'm holding on to it for a little while longer. I'm putting it in a safe somewhere. I'm holding on to it.
But how much more do you think? Because Skeens was pretty big.
Get you $1.5 million.
Not terribly significant. It's true.
So if your favorite team offered you a similar deal for a rookie card,
Well,
would
okay.
you do it?
I think this is the essence of it is, am I a hardcore fan of that team?
Mm-hmm.
Because
a
that's
big part
the
of it.
stuff that the team is offering is valuable if you love the team.
And you live in Dallas, so you have access.
Yeah.
to
Right.
it.
And there's no way of knowing whether the person is a Mavericks fan or a Duke fan or lives in Alaska or lives in Dallas, right?
Yes.
Well,
So if you were-
why are they thinking somebody would take that? Because what are the chances that the person who gets that card
Lives
is
in
a
Dallas
Mavericks fan?
or lives in Texas, for that matter.
Yeah. Oh, so not like the Mavericks.
Exactly. You could be a Houston
So,
Rocket fan
I
for
don't-
whatever.
I don't think they're offering enough. I think they would have to offer more.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Josh
saying.
says there's also a $2 million bounty on it right now, too.
Ooh.
Does that mean like Boba Fett? Try to find it.
In the print on
Knocks on my door. I'll know why. He's going to say, "Do you have the Cooper Flag card?"
I'd be more excited to meet Boba Fett than Cooper.
Yeah.
I would. On the Mavericks website, the is the card. The card market value may exceed the market value of the experience to be offered.
And what I'm saying, it's like
Got to come to the table with
you
more.
got to come to the table a little bit.
Josh chimes back in and says, ultimately, it'll go for around $3 million. He thinks,
I take that $3 million.
even for someone who loves Cooper
Exactly.
Flag, I'm thinking $3 million.
Give me-
$3 million. Here is the proposal from the Dallas Mavericks for a one-of-one Cooper Flag patch autograph card. 2 Mavericks season premium lower level tickets for 32 years. 32 years. A Cooper Flag signed game worn rookie jersey, a post-game photo with Cooper Flag, a private photo shoot with the NBA Rookie of the Year trophy and Larry O'Brien Championship trophy, a VIP tour of the Mavericks practice facility with a team meet and greet, basketball experience for up to 10 guests at American Airlines Center, a road trip experience to see the Mavericks take on the Celtics, including round-trip airfare, hotel accommodation, and game tickets.
I also am a card collecting purist. I go back when I was a kid. My idea of card collecting is a lot different than what it's become, which is, an asset, right? It's how much is this worth? Like I come from the days of it was just a fun hobby to do, like
trade.
collect, to trade, and talk about the guys. And we handled the cards, which you
With
can't do
care.
now. You have to like put it in a hermetically sealed
Can't
thing.
touch it.
Right. That took the fun out of it. So that's sad that this become that. Like you're trying to find the person that found that and not have that person cash it in. And that's the immediate thing you go to. What's the value of this versus value of that? But unless I was a hardcore Dallas Mavericks fan that just absolutely loved having season tickets, there's no way they're not gonna get that card from that.
Give me
They're not going to get it.
This website called soulretriever.com says, depending on the seats, estimates range from $350,000 to $600,000 for the total value of the offer at the Mavericks have. However, there are reportedly offers for the flag card from private collectors that already surpass the 1.1 million mark set by the Schemes card, with some experts speculating that it could go for as much as $5 million in the public auction. With these kinds of offers being thrown around, the Mavs offer seems and almost insulting by Mason.
Well, why do you want it so bad?
Maybe. Call me, and you can buy it from me.
Yeah.
I don't need the other stuff. If you pay me the money it's going to be worth, I can do that on my own and still have a bunch of money, invested. Give me the money.
There's probably an over 95% chance that the holder of the card
Is not a Mavericks
fan
Exactly.
or a Cooper Flag fan.
B-Man says, do we know if anyone has pulled the card yet? I do not know that. Josh, who is our resident card collector, I suppose, says, I've watched some people spend more than $100,000 on just a Cooper Flag spot in a break. It's live. They did not hit the card in that break.
My thing is, and I know that probably more, a little bit more complex than this. But you have so like we're gonna start to you. This is your card to keep. There. Ultimately, that's what the Dallas Mavericks wants to do, get this rare card so they can then hold it and put it in their Hall of Fame or whatever. Why did the card company, whoever, we're going to make one card of, like one card of draft pick. If you just want to say the lottery guys, we're going to make one special card that nobody else will have, and that'll be theirs.
I'm curious, too, of how you look at it long term. Is it right? Because part of the game that people would play a lot in the collection world for baseball, like the rookie card of a certain guy. There are guys that peak early, right? They might be the rookie of the year. They might have a couple of great seasons early in their career. And then for one reason or another, injuries, etc., they're not as good. And the stock of the card goes down. So it also would, like Paul Skeens right now is in a little bit of a lull. He's not pitching very well.
His card probably wouldn't be worth $1.11 million right now.
I think there's a lot of reason to believe he'll bounce back, but you never know.
people would pay that to sit next to Livy Dunn for a game, though. She, popular.
Like,
Gonna-
Gary Brand asked me that.
Yes.
Let's see. B is really caught the van.
the Vandy Day.
There's a Vanderbilt.
Mhm.
Vanderbilt card. It's a team photo of the NBA champion. League baseball cards with your right. Two on correct spelling.
B also wants to know if Billy has a basketball card.
Basketball card. There's a clear Vanderbilt team card, 1990 NIT champions.
Taylor says 2 seats times 41 games times 32 seasons, 2,624 tickets. If you sell the tickets for $150 each, that's $393,000. Give me the millies.
Exactly. Give me the money. Love you, but give me the money.
Even me, super flag. I'm taking money. I'm taking. It said screw this guy and burned it or trashed it. I'm going to bite my tongue on this.
It
one.
would be crazy.
I'm going to bite my tongue on this one. Road vacation, so I haven't been able to react to it. The whole Michael Lombardi thing. I did see that. I'm like, oh, what a shame.
I'm sure you.
It's just terrible what's happening with North Carolina football. It's a shame.
You should. She did.
These trading cards for it. Completely different thing that I'm sure you guys are growing up and collecting cards. It's just the amount of money these things go for is just insane.
There was a card that my embark. You ain't got my hair on my beard, okay. Still do. But he own shop. So what he just put out cards when a kid coming there because he's old school. He's like, man, go in there and grab some cards. Get some baseball cards and football cards, basketball cards. And that's cool because the kids are not used to be the cards, sports cards, trading and stuff like that. So he said he gave him by accident, because there's not many of these. It was a rookie Magic Johnson card, but it had Irving Magic Johnson in it.
Oh, wow.
Yes. He said he said, oh my goodness. Everybody was ragging the barbershop. Like, dude, how can you give talent away? Magic didn't have his full name on cards. It was really his rookie season. After that, it was just Magic Johnson. It was not many with Irving Magic Johnson.
I mean,
at least not rookie, after rookie year.
When I was younger, I collected Pokemon cards. And some of those cards went for a ton of money. I think famously, Logan Paul paid like $1 million for like a Charizard card or something like that for you Pokemon fans out there. But it's amazing to me how much these cards go for. So good luck to the Dallas Mavericks, I suppose. We'll see if somebody is willing to take them up on their offer, but I'm not sure. Let's go to our phone line driven by Wilson County, Hunter.com, and welcome in Justin. Justin, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
I heard y'all talking about the flag card will probably go for $3 to $5 million. I do shows all over the Southeast. The card market now is unprecedented. How much money is moving around. Nashville has one of the largest shows in the country. Usually 3 times a year. There's about 1,500
Wow.
Yeah.
Justin, do you think, or is he still there?
He's gone.
I would be curious, what got him into it and what he thinks about that part of it, because it was always to me about, it would spark discussion. It got you interested in these players. Like, oh, I want to see that guy play. Like, what did he hit last year? Oh, this guy, he's only 5'6". There's the little things that you learn by reading the cards. It was essential for me.
And then you got some bubble
growing up, and the gum.
Yeah,
Got some gum.
And you got gum, stale gum.
Yeah. You too.
The left. 737-1025. All right, it's Friday. It's almost 5 o'clock. It's time for Ask DMase. I'm telling you, you're going to want to text us a question for Derek on 737-1025. Because if you do, and you ask a question that Derek Mason likes above all else, you will win a 4-pack tickets to PBR Stampede Days at Bridgestone Arena either next Friday, August 14th, or next Sunday, August 16th. So if you want a 4-pack of tickets to PBR Stampede Days, in right now, 615-737-1025 with your question for Derek Mason. Ask DMase coming up next. Willie Dunnick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. DMase, Vingan, and Donick, 1025. The game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you, and Connor Newt as well. Titans will have a scrimmage. What time does it start, Connor? 6:30?
6:30.
6:30 at Nissan Stadium. So no practice today during the day, so we don't have any Titans practice reports for you. Though I did see earlier today from Paul Kaharski that Alec Manner's shoulder is fine
That's good.
after he left practice yesterday with a shoulder injury. But it's Friday, it's 5 o'clock, and you know what that means. It's time for Ask DMase. And if you need any incentive, you don't really need an incentive to ask Derek Mason anything, but in case you do, if you want to win a 4-pack of tickets to PBR Stampede Days at Bridgestone Arena next weekend, send us a text with a question for Derek at 615-737-1025. Derek will select the winner later this hour, and if you are the lucky winner, you will be going to PBR Stampede Days at Bridgestone Arena either next Friday, August 14th, or next Sunday, August 16th. So get those questions in now at 615-737-1025. Josh says, hey, DMase, I have one of your cards. Do you want to buy it from me? I'll give you a great deal.
I have 1 million of my own. I got so many of those cars of myself. Because they send them to you every year in bundles. New cars that they produced of you while you were playing. And I got a huge load of them once I retired. It was like a case of just cards they got delivered. So I got enough cards.
Do you have any Jets or Texans cards?
I don't think I've seen a Jets or Texan card. Not to say that there's not one out there.
But if you're saying you're not really worried,
Yeah, I'm not
that
worried
you don't
about
have
that.
those.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too big if I have one of those cards. Do believe I have I believe I have one or the other or both. But I have not seen them.
Okay.
Because Jets at the I may not, because I was on the open today roster, so I may just have a card.
We do.
I just pulled up a picture on Getty Images of Derek Mason in the Texans uniform being tackled by Cortland Finnegan. And what a strange look this is for Derek Mason.
But it's not a card, though.
No, it's just a picture. It's just a picture. But it's still just a
It's
strange
like he's
look.
hugging me.
Maybe he is hugging you. It looks like you've got the ball, you're catching it, but I'm just
Yeah, it's just
I-
look right.
something
No.
doesn't look right about it.
Don't even look at the Jets.
I'm good. Scott from Shelbyville says, question for DMase. For the bowl ticket, remember, if you want the PR ticket, 37125. Eric, a question. Last question. The tickets. Question for DMase for the bull riding tickets from Scott. Out of all of the personalities on the radio and all of the shows, or not, you can include 4-9 in this. So George Blaster and crew can be involved. Which one of you would last the longest and would do the most riding a bull? 8 seconds.
All
Job. Ride the bull.
gonna
You? Sure.
it's just only, I
It's
mean,
low crap.
I'm looking.
Yeah. Chances with him.
Okay.
Trying to, nah, really.
Low center.
Nah, and he's top. Off.
No.
I said, Mike, who was Kings game,
Uh-huh.
right at the stadium, there was a
Tree from, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. they had a bull
Bull. Yeah. Years.
all different things at different times. So I don't remember what it was called at the time, but there were a couple of guys. Frank Wycheck was one, and then Drew Bennett was in there, and he just played a game.
True.
And so did Frank, but Frank didn't get on the bull. But Drew got on the bull,
Oh, yeah.
and he started riding it.
Yeah, that's true. That's, I don't.
This is a guy
surprised.
that famously woke up in his college dorm one day, and his buddy's like, "Let's run the marathon."
Exactly. He ran.
And he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
So,
preparation
he
at all.
tried everything. I'm going to put you on the spot. So Nick Frazier is our guest.
Yeah.
Who would last?
Seeing that Drew Bennett is not.
Who would be immediately thrown off the bull?
Me. Jay,
In there from Connor.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Chase, but you and Adam, Chase and Adam may be neck and neck. I think Chase would fall off first, but I think you would be second.
That
Because you don't look like a bull guy. You don't even want to be outside. I mean, come on.
He does have one thing going for him now.
What's that?
He doesn't wear red.
You got a point.
that is
Yeah,
true.
you got
Golden
a
State
point.
red.
My wife did my sunburn when I came home from Titans practice yesterday, and I was like, one texter says, "Withrow." Is that the name of the? Maybe.
It had several different names, but at the time, I think it was at one point the trap. I want to know places the trap. No, I don't want to go.
Jeff says, "What was your most intense locker room moment?" Intense locker room moment.
Oh man, most intense locker room moment. Oh man, I think after that loss in well shoot, it's a couple of them. We lost to the Raiders, AFC Championship game. How that game went. The New England game, we lost at the end. That was intense. I mean, that locker room is just, and then obviously Super Bowl because it was just, finality of it all. And, crying and, everything every emotion outside of, happy emotions that you can sort of think of. I've been in a situation where guys come in and threw their helmet at the whiteboard and, cursing and screaming because we've lost or things happen. So there's been some intense time, but I think typically they're, those games that are, final games, and typically that's in the playoffs.
Craig says, "Derek, how long did it take for you to be able to sit and watch a game as a fan?"
As a fan,
After you retired.
Man, a very, very long, and even today, unless I'm like watching for work, and I'm at the stadium in the press box, I'm not sure. At least on a pro level, I can do it on a college level. My son and I have done it a few times, going to see Michigan State play, and then going to see my nephew and stuff. But to actually sit at a in the stand NFL game and watch the whole game, I still haven't been able to do it. I just because I look at it different. I process everything different than what a lot of fans do, and I think a lot of fans it's more so they enjoy it. I'm sitting there and I'm watching the game, so it's hard. Well, I did it when my daughter and I went to London for the Titans and Ravens, but we were a suite, so we were kind of coming back, in and out. So, but outside of that, I haven't been able to really do it, and I don't think I can honestly. It's just one of those things when it's like you played it. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's hard to go see this because in a sense, it's like on you want to be.
Says, "Was there ever a guy that you knew or felt you were definitely better than through the league? Always seemed to get the nod or more popularity over you, even though he didn't deserve it."
I just, coming in as a rookie, you always think that, hey, doing and say that over there. Tell you, doing better. Those over there.
Derek Mason.
And it's because they played, but I knew what I was doing, and you can hear or the coaches talk to you about what you're doing, you more and more and more. So always felt that even in college, like just let me prove myself, and once I prove myself, understand that I should be playing. And I think even in college, when I proved myself, and they gave me a chance to prove myself, okay, this kid can't play. Here and there, it was like, oh, this kid really can play. So I've always had that mindset of not from an arrogant standpoint, but I was always confident in who I was as a player. And I didn't believe, like, I thought guys were good or even great, but it was always like, okay, all right, yeah. But I know I can also hang with that guy too, or even better than that guy. So that's the way I look.
Michael says, Derek, which teammate did you feel brought the best out of your playing career? Maybe not quarterback specific, as they would have a direct impact on your game, but any teammate brought out the best DMase.
I mean, Samari was going up against him all the time. The person that really outside of is Steve, and Steve and I's relationship sort of grew when I became a starter. But it was two guys, I tell you, outside of Coach Les Stepper. But that was from a coaching standpoint. But Neil O'Donnell and Dave Craig, with Dave Craig my rookie year, and he and I just clicked, and he just built it. And then Neil came in, he and I just picked up a rapport, and he allowed me to feel comfortable games, and he allowed me to really play this game because he would always encourage the other receivers that were, that was in that group, whether it was myself, Joey, Zig Bird, or anybody else. But Neil was always pushing, trying to make you better as a player. Just do that. And tribute be me. He was because Steve had gotten hurt. And it was like being with Neil, I had that confidence because he helped give me confidence on the practice field. And when we got in the game, it was just like peanut butter and jelly. Just throw it, catch, throw it. That's just how we were. So I contribute that, on field to those two guys, Les Stapple. Then obviously Heimer didn't get to help refine my game. But yeah, if you're talking about guys on the field and Samari who would challenge me, he and Denard would challenge me every day. I'm in practice. So
one texter says, was there ever a player you underestimated? Surprise at game time.
Wow, any guys that I under
Yeah.
Don't say Cincinnati. Their defense in general. Under, rebound.
What year? You
in Baltimore. I was in Baltimore. This was maybe 05, 06, somewhere around there.
I'm trying to look up these players.
And that next game out, one cat. Good. So they to do.
Neil.
No, Neil.
Tor James.
Yeah, pretty good. Yes. What was the other guy? It might have been. What's the next year after that?
2006.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Because they had two good corners back then. I don't know why. I can't.
Jonathan Joseph.
Yeah, Jonathan Joseph. Joseph was really for the radar a lot, but really good player. Nicole Pound did, and it was me to underestimate the guy. And yeah, it was well.
173-025. And questions for Derek Mason, and you are incentivized as the best question to Derek, the person who asks that question, will receive a 4-pack of tickets to PBR Stampede at Bridge Arena. So if you want, you still have to send in a question for Derek Mason. The number. Also, something came up in the news that upset. Well, 637 1025. Derek Mason, Adam Biggin, 1025.
All right, let's talk twice daily. Remember, the weekend's coming up. You're going to be buzzing all over the place. You got stuff to do. Friday nights here. And in a couple of weeks, it's going to be back to school and that Friday night football game you're going to, getting ready for your college games on Saturday. you're out and about a lot. And that's why the twice daily sponsorship here on 1025 The Game is something you need to take note of, because they've got the great rewards program. You're going to save money every time you attend and enjoy the folks at Twice Daily. And that means something. First of all, they do a great job with what they provide, but also when you save money by making it a habit of going there back time and time again, that's money in your pocket. That's more money for all of the things you want to do in your life. So remember Twice Daily, great sponsor here on 1025 The Game. And remember about that rewards program. Go ahead and sign up for it. Tell them we sent you, and enjoy all of the fruits or the pizza from Twice Daily. It's Twice Daily, fresh all day.
DMase, Vingen and Donick, 1025 the game. All right. You guys are 3 for 4 so far on theme songs from 2000s teen dramas.
Jeez, this one I'm struggling with because I know the song. Like this is Carole King. I
It
know
is
the song.
Carole King. Where you lead, I will follow.
Yeah.
This is
good
not
song.
Doogie Howser, no.
It is not Doogie Howser. That is not. Is that your official guess?
No,
it's
no, it's not.
It's
It's
my
not.
official guess. I said it's not
All right.
Doogie
I need
Howser.
a hint. I need a hint
You need a hint.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can come up with a good hint.
because I'm not going to get it based on the song.
It was created by Amy Sherman Palladino, who also created The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
That doesn't help me at all.
It starred
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
It starred Lauren Graham and Alexis Bledel.
That's not helping me either.
Touched by an Angel? No.
Well, I think it might have been on the same network as Touched by an Angel.
Okay.
I think.
Hmm.
I think it was a WB program.
Ooh, it's WB.
I think it was a WB program.
Yeah.
Let me double check. Let me confirm. Let me confirm it was a WB program. It was. It premiered on the WB.
Ah.
Is it Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Is that your final answer?
No.
We're gonna do the Connor Newt. We're gonna do the Connor Newt rule
I'm just
for
gonna keep
where are
throwing
they
stuff
now?
out.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah. You get one more guess, and if you don't get it, that's it.
Gilmore Girls.
Got it.
Got it.
Really?
Yep.
You just threw it out there. Gilmore Girl.
4 out of 5.
You're so in touch with your feminine
Gilmore
side. I love it.
I never watched the show.
I don't know what. Well, I know what that one is.
Oh,
I
man.
know one of the 6.
Now, Gilmore Girls lasted for a good bit, didn't they?
Gilmore
I
Girls. Let's see.
think
How long
so.
did 7 seasons?
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls. 7 seasons. From October 2000 to May 2007. 2007. It's still going for a very, very, very long time. All right, you guys are doing so well. You guys are doing well.
Really?
4 out of 5.
We're hanging tough.
4 out of 5. All right. Remember, it's Ask DMase, 615-737-1025. If you ask the best question for Derek Mason, as chosen by Derek Mason, he will win a 4-pack of tickets to see PBR Stampede Days at Bridgestone Arena next weekend. You still got time to get your questions in. 615-737-1025. One texter says, this is more directed to all of you as a follow-up from the talk yesterday about the terrible matchup for the Hall of Fame game. But what did you think of that finish last night? Who says preseason games can't be fun to watch? Glad football season is back. I was at the gym earlier today, and I wasn't listening to the Pat McAfee show, but it was on the TV. And on the lower third, all it said was best Hall of Fame game of all time. Like, are we doing this? Are we comparing preseason games? Are we ranking preseason games? And I know I read, because I'm going to be honest with you. I told you I wasn't going to watch. I think I watched and then I fell asleep.
That's more. However many plays it was, that's more than I watched.
I read that performance. Time we've seen fabulous preseason performances that now on the other sideline. Star Kenny Pickett. How many great preseasons did Kenny Pickett have?
I don't know.
Early in his career that amounted to absolutely nothing. Oh, good for Carson Beck, I suppose. But yeah, I didn't watch.
I watched the first quarter. And Carson Beck was doing really good. After that, it was just like background vision. I really wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah, it was more of a cure for insomnia for me.
My football first quarter. Yeah, that. And then after that, I was like,
And Station says, what do you think? Big victory for the Tennessee Titans.
who do
It's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Let's take Cam out.
take it? And you got to take Carter. Yeah,
Okay.
he's got to take those 2 guys. Jeffrey as well. Actually, it has to be. Well, no matter. 2 guys.
And Elikiah Manor, according to our friend Paul Kaharski, is fine after dinging his shoulder yesterday at practice. So good news there.
Because it seemed like both of those 2 guys are sort of on that precipice.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
Good. Oh yeah.
Yes,
Good.
to break out. We've seen it early on with Alec. I'm glad he's healthy. Saw glimpses of it. Not necessarily glimpses, but it was consistent last year with Gray at linebacker. So I think this year Those are two guys that I think are prime for breakout seasons.
Okay.
You call it like a breakout season, and he never really had a season. It's
Good
Yeah.
year. So
so
he would have to, he would have to play a lot.
Yeah.
Which right now I'm curious how much he gets in there.
Mhm.
If they have the three wides that are a lot the drill so far, which is the new guy Robinson in the slot, Ridley's back on the outside, and of course you got Tate.
Mhm.
So fighting for the role for DK and Iomanner, who played a lot
Yes.
last year, that's going to be something to watch.
Watching the local news earlier during a break, and something popped on the screen that upset Derek Mason greatly. Kellogg's has announced that it will remove artificial flavors from all of its cereals by the end of this year.
Goodness.
And they showed Fruit Loops on the screen, and Derek
gets
Mason
Loops.
and Apple Jacks, and Derek Mason was not happy
You
about it.
get loops and just jacks. No more apple, no more fruit.
Milk, like Willie says.
That definitely not.
It doesn't. Chocolate milk doesn't work with those cereals.
Yeah.
You don't need it with those cereals. Let me make that clear. For those that
Not
did
with
not
every
hear me
cereal.
yesterday, we were asking about like peculiar eating habits. I was saying mine is with chocolate milk on straight up Oreos or maybe even Raisin Bran, Fruit Loops and stuff. This is a big story.
Yeah, I am glad they
But
are
is it going to taste
taking
the
out
same?
the artificial flavor, and they need to take that out. That's the
But it's all artificial. The whole thing.
Will
That's key.
Yeah.
Will the milk taste the same after you're done with the bowl?
Will it still have that film on there?
That's the key. You want the film.
But all of the loops taste the same. At least they do to me. Whether it's yellow or red or blue, it all tastes the same. My son claims they don't taste the same, but he doesn't have a refined palate. He's almost 5 years old.
I think if you eat them individually, you may get them tasting this different, but eating them together, I mean, you don't know. But I'm upset.
There was a restaurant here in Nashville that has since closed. It was over by Vanderbilt, and they served cereal milk. Like they just had a big dispenser of milk with different cereals floating in it to get the flavor. And then they would just turn the tap and pour it into a glass. That was good stuff, man.
Eat cereal.
So you ordered it just out of curiosity.
Yes.
To see if it was the same sensation you got.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you actually ate the
yeah.
cereal.
Oh yeah. Cinnamon Toast Crunch milk. Oh, it was.
If you wanted to get the cereal with it, did they have that there? You just like to grab and go. You just
just like I wanted milk that tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch without actually eating cereal. You got
So you drank.
okay. How many
How
flavors
that?
did it?
I don't recall off the top of my head. Some chocolate cereals, maybe some Cocoa Puffs. Raisin Bran.
No.
Oh,
Definitely not.
Bran.
How dare you?
Cornflakes.
This is a staple.
Worst cereal.
Kind of knockoff of I called it a knockoff of corn.
Yeah. With a little slightly
trying-
kind of plain.
Yeah.
Mini wheats.
Smack. Was, you don't know what sugar?
Yeah.
Sugar.
Called Smack.
Yeah. Called the smack.
Sugar-
Sugar smack. Horrible. I buy that stuff. Got
that
smacked.
was
We didn't
sugary.
get sugar.
It was sugary cereal, though, right?
Yeah, it was. It was.
With
But
the
it was.
frog?
It was a chocolate. Like, it looked like the bugs.
Yeah. Where there's a tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was okay with it.
Sugar smack was my favorite.
Honeycomb with the big.
Oh yeah, love it. But you had so to little.
It's because it.
Oh my goodness, you would have to for a minute.
I don't know how those because there's love. You feel tearing up the roof of your mouth.
Or my mother would not buy the extra sweet, sugary cereal. But every now and then we would go on vacation and you get the variety pack where it was like 6 different cereals in those mini bags. And my sister and I fought over the cereals we weren't allowed to have at home. Like Cocoa Puffs, that's mine.
I feel like
Lucky
each other's
Charms,
household.
mine.
My brother and I, same kind of fight. What about those little? Did you opened up? You ate it Just thought that was a fun trick. Like, oh, I don't need a bowl. Right here. Story you told us about.
Oh yeah, so
Yes, this was great.
because listen, I grew up in a big family, and my mom and dad what were like we got or eat. Okay, eat cereal for the next 2 weeks, 2 boxes of cereal or 3 boxes of cereal, whatever it was. So I always said like, man, when you're walking down as a kid, it's like, oh, I like all of those cereals, and my mom was like, you better not touch that cereal. We know we said, adult, buy my own cereal. I'm gonna get the cereal I want. First day I walked into a grocery store with my own money. Yeah, I looked at all those cereals I wanted, and I got them.
How did you
Yeah.
choose?
I get just like my favorite brand.
Over the box.
Just it was like 5, 6 boxes of cereal. It's like throw it in and go. Finally, eat this one. Yes, I got freedom. The whole box in one day without having to worry about anything. And I
All right, what were the draft choices?
so I had Raisin Bran. That's why I say Raisin Bran. Come on, man. You got that. I had Blue, had Pebbles, Fruity Pebbles. You know, oh my goodness!
I don't
Come
like the
on,
fruity
Connor.
stuff.
Come on, Connor. So it was Raisin Bran, Fruity Pebbles, Honeycombs was another. What else did I get? Cinnamon Toast. I love Cinnamon Toast, bro.
That's the best.
Yes.
The best. It's a
then,
lot of those. The best.
I love the Charms because I love the marshmallows.
Yeah,
Oh,
those
love
are good.
the Charms. Loved it. And it was another cereal. I remember when they had like Smurf cereal out back then. Smurf cereal, and then these other cartoon cereals. I should love those too.
Where do you stand on Captain Crunch?
Okay, see, because never
Say that.
varieties of Captain Crunch.
That's some stuff.
Exactly, they had some stuff. Now, when you're just the plain
The original.
peanut butter crunch,
A little shaky.
yeah,
I did it. It was there. The berries.
Yeah.
So that
yeah,
eat
as
it.
crunch
Now,
berry.
about berries. Are you familiar with oops berries? No. It's Captain. So the Captain Crunch with the berries, right? Except it's just all berries. There's no Captain Crunch. It's
I would have loved it.
It's Crunch berries only.
I wonder why they like that.
Oh,
So
what he's having for dinner today.
I was lactose intolerant, so I kind of went away from that.
Cereal
general.
is just so good.
I love cereal.
I could just
Cereal should be a staple in everybody's household.
teammates for a moment
I want some more cereal.
because people you still got time.
I
You
want
still
some
got time.
Crunch.
That's so good. I would gain 50 pounds eating. I recently decided a replace things involved. Walked a pallet of Cinnamon Toast Crunch one time.
Oh,
and
my.
I'm just like,
Ooh.
yeah, I would need Ozempic by the end of this box.
So you resisted?
I resist.
See, I don't think I could have done
I resist.
Ooh,
There's
dang.
something about those cereals where you eat a bowl, your body just tells you, fill up the bowl again. Do it. And your brain is like, yeah, fill it up. Bowl. That is it. Just draws you in.
Really good too.
Yeah.
Little- Hey, put it in there.
Josh, like, okay. Josh says, can't believe nobody's mentioned Cocoa Pebbles.
What?
tough.
At the time, who's doing
Pebbles a little easier on the roof of your mouth than the Cocoa Puffs, which was like
I don't-
hard, rocky. You had to really chomp or let the milk soak in a little.
Yeah. You-
Hell yeah.
Why you like
Because it's fruity.
that?
Fruit. If I'm going to eat they have 7 and it says it's got all these vitamins in it.
Look at it.
Yeah, sure, man. We do have a quick blue white scrimmage update. Nissan Stadium has posted in the last 10 minutes. Light
is approaching Nissan
Ooh.
Stadium. Please proceed to covered areas of the concourse or other interior areas at this time.
We got a delay.
So if you're on your way to Nissan Stadium, maybe hang out in your car a little bit. If you're at
You got
Nissan
time.
Stadium and you're listening to us, well, first of all, thank you. Second of all,
So you got time to run by and grab.
yeah, over. 615-737-1025. We've got one more segment. If you've got a question for Derek and you want to win a 4-pack of tickets to PBR Stampede Days, you can by asking the question. 615-737-1025. We will contact the winner shortly after the show. 615-737-1025. Willie Dunnick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 the game. DMase, Vingan and Donick, 1025 the game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan. I've been very impressed with Willie and Derek. Today's theme for music. Themes from 2000s teen dramas. They are 4 for 5 so far. They've gotten The OC, Dawson's Creek and Freaks and Geeks and Gilmore Girls. They missed One Tree Hill. Christian, let this play for a little bit longer.
Oh, I know this song. See, this is weird. I find myself knowing the song, but not the show.
The song is "We Used to Be Friends" by the Dandy Warhols.
Yes, the Dandy Warhols.
All right.
It's not Melrose Place, is it?
Melrose Place was on the
No.
2000s teen
Yeah.
No,
What's-
no. It's definitely not Melrose Place. I can answer that.
Yes.
Because I would say Melrose Place peaked mid-90s, right?
Yeah,
That's
it
a
was
mid-90s.
90s. That's what I'm thinking, like
Yeah.
90s. Oh,
It's 2000s.
2000.
All right. Do you want your one hint?
Yes. Gotta have it.
It led to the rise in popularity of one Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell. Oh, I'm gonna be disappointed with myself.
Something to do with it.
This should be easy. Honestly, that was a big show, and I can't remember the name of it.
Yes, or do you want me to reveal?
It's Retreat.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, she was in Couples Retreat.
Oh, dang!
You're gonna.
What's the first letter? I mean,
Not there.
Do it.
Play.
It did play on the California.
No, that so it's a California show.
It's not the OC that was already in
Not
charge.
the
Sorry
OC.
on it. I know. I think it's about. Here's what it is. If you don't,
I've heard of it. I've watched it.
No.
Such a bummer when you miss the last one.
Her is Veronica Mars.
Yes.
What? Veronica Mars.
It was Neptune, a planet. I should have said Mars. I could have.
4 for 6.
That was gettable.
4 for 6. That's
No, not bad. Not bad.
That's not bad. You missed. Nissan Stadium has announced that lightning is approaching the stadium, so please proceed to covered areas of the concourses or other interior areas at this time. If you are on your way to the blue and white scrimmage on stadium, just keep that in mind. One texter on our serial conversation said nobody said Tricks. Tricks is gross.
Yeah, I'm not a
Trick-
tricks person.
yeah,
No.
gross.
I wasn't a big tricks guy.
So, as I mentioned, when we would get the variety packs on vacation and we would all jump on the Cocoa Puffs or Lucky Charms, Tricks was always the last one left. Like, nobody wanted the
So when
Tricks.
you said was this a variety pack of only sugar cereal?
It was a variety pack of, I think,
The small box.
General Mills
Yeah.
cereals.
Yeah, because
So-
sometimes you get it, and there's like the cereals you don't want, like
There would be Cheerios.
cornflakes.
It would be Cheerios and things
those
like
tend to go lower in the.
There'd be like 2 or 3 good cereals, and then the other cereals would be
Just like,
something.
I don't want the bland cereals, but
Yeah.
Tricks would always get left by the wayside.
What about the sugar corn pops?
No.
One text say, with his cereal choices and love for Hallmark movies, Derek and I would be best friends.
There we go. Yeah.
It's almost that season.
It's almost that.
We're getting
Yes.
there. We're getting there. Let's sneak in a question for asking you for your participation. Derek has been your questions. He will choose a winner after the show, and we will be in contact with you. One texter says, speaking of the scrimmage, what are your thoughts on Will Levis and his spot on the roster?
Wow. Wow. I was talking about this. No. It's ultimately going to be sort of, the question that sort of lingers out there. That, you don't know how to approach it in a sense, because they say that competition, but if you have to practice, this really is not a competition for the backup quarterback position. Will Levis has talent, but it may not, ever be on this moving forward in Nashville. So it was one of those things where it's coming, traded or, but nobody want to, this is from the organization wants to speak on it, say what he had to say early in camp about the quarterback, but since then, with it, sort of just one of those deals. We're gonna look up and It's going to be okay. Will Levis has either gotten traded, which I think is more likely to happen than them just outright releasing him. I don't think that benefits the Titans by any means. I think trying to get something for him would be good for the Titans. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be here. Now, when that happens on the last day of camp, or they choose to do it a little bit before, I don't know. I'm sure if they get a dance partner with a trade, they're looking to do it, before the season starts. So it's going to be one we need to just continue to watch, because we'll see more and more on how they want to divvy up these reps once preseason come. Because right now, what you say, Willie, he's been relegated to the third team, and
I
he
think
and
it would
Hendon
be.
Hooker.
I think the key is going to be: do they feel like the roster is deep enough to where they would rather have, let's say, Hendon Hooker as the third quarterback on the practice squad and keep two, or they value Levis enough to say he's one of the best 53, and until we can find something else to do with him, we still don't want to just throw him into the pile and get nothing for him. I think that's going to be what it comes down to, unless they find a trade partner. And when the games start, there might be a team or two that end up needing a quarterback.
And the question is, we've touched on this throughout the week. We opened the week by talking about Will Levis actually addressing reporters for the first time in more than a year. Those preseason snaps are so valuable. How many snaps do the Titans actually want to give Will Levis? Do they want? Are they saying to themselves, "Hey, we've got to get Will out there more than we probably want to, because we're trying to get more good tape for him so we can find a trade partner"? Is that something that they prioritize? They have more important needs, more pressing needs than boosting Will Levis's stock in the preseason.
I don't think they are prioritizing that. Because I think their thing is, we're going to get the guys ready that we know are going to be on this team, meaning from the quarterback position. So that's Ward and Trubisky. And, if Will Levis, while we're getting them prepared, if he shows out in preseason in those games that he's going to play, then, it opens up an avenue for potential trade. I'm just worried that, based upon what I've seen in practice, Will hasn't done anything to separate himself in a good way. And it's like, okay, if we get in the preseason game, is it going to be the same way? Because ultimately that's going to be how he shows he can play in this league, is through preseason and whatever reps he get. And if he doesn't show then, it's just going to be like interesting to watch how all of this kind of falls out.
Paul Kaharski, as only he can, quote tweeted Nissan Stadium's warning and says, "You'd be crazy to choose to come to this."
Oh, Paul, don't do that. Let the people.
The skies are ominous, or
Yeah.
Maybe
logistics
on
of
that
getting in.
Over here, it's not too bad looking outside, but maybe
on the other
closer,
side.
maybe closer to downtown. By the way, I did find the 8-pouch cereal breakfast pack from General Mills. All right, here are the cereals: Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cocoa Puffs, Cheerios, Honey Nut Cheerios, Golden Grams, Frosted Cheerios, Tricks.
No tricks.
I'm glad you guys are saying this. If we're drafting, I'll wait and I'll take the tricks in the last pick. I'll be okay with that.
Cocoa Puffs, no.
A value pick.
Yeah.
Tricks is
No,
a value pick.
Cocoa Puffs, no.
Honey Nut Cheerios,
I'm a big fan.
Big fan.
Yeah, because that one got clearance in the Donick house
Uh-huh.
as not being a quote unquote sugar cereal.
Mm-hmm.
When the reality is
it
had a lot of sugar in it. So boom, that was a go-to.
One texter says there's a cereal bar in 12th South. Okay,
Is
well,
it?
I'll have to check it out. Honestly, cannot remember the last time I went to 12th South. It's okay. I'll check it out. Okay,
There you go.
All right, I
Got your
know what
cereal bar.
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Some cereal.
A lot happening today. We appreciate Brian Costello of the New York Post for joining us. He wrote exclusive stories. He had exclusive interviews with Robert Saleh and Brian Dable. He was here earlier this week. If you missed that conversation, It will be wherever you find your podcast soon, if it isn't already up. Really interesting conversation. We came on the air. Peter Skoronski signed a 4-year, $100 million deal, $88 million guaranteed. It makes him the highest average paid NFL guard. And the $88 million in guarantees, according to Spot Track, is the most all time at his position by nearly $10 million. Also, I thought, well, bust.
Friendly to be a football mascot.
He does, but at least he looks more like the animal he is representing. As I said, the other T-Rack, I don't know what that quote-unquote raccoon was, but it certainly wasn't a raccoon I've ever seen. But I saw T-Rack, the old T-Rack, on Tuesday, and now he's gone to the mascot farm upstate with all of your sea dogs.
You want to hear a funny story?
I would love to.
About a mascot soon that was discarded.
Yes, I'd love to hear that.
There was a Domino's Pizza campaign years ago where it was the Noid.
The Noid.
Avoid the Noid.
Avoid the Noid.
So that was a sponsor of Vanderbilt football at one point. And so there was for some promotion, there was a guy in the Noid costume.
Mhm.
And then that promotion was gone. The Domino's went into something else. So somebody discarded the mascot suit in the stadium, underneath the stadium. So it was just sitting there. So I was the sideline reporter for Vanderbilt football, and somebody secretly, a couple years later, found the suit and just dressed him up in the suit and went to every Vanderbilt football game as the Noid and just walked around the stadium waving to everybody.
And nobody knew anything.
Free season tickets. But he wasn't affiliated with Domino's. He didn't get clearance. He just found the suit, put it on, and just waved to the people coming in. He was there the whole season.
This wasn't clear to the universe.
Oh,
Good.
I admire his pluck. One texter said, "This is one of the most hyped all three of you have been talking about old school cereals." Bravo. I mean, hey, we are a multifaceted program. For us and for the week with Derek Mason right after the show, and we will find out VR tickets. So excellent participation from all of you and Ask DMase. We had a wonderful week with you. We hope you had a wonderful week with us. We will be back Monday at 3:00. If it's scrimmage to the weather, we will react to it on Monday. We'll get more, of course, into the Tennessee Titans when we return to the air. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe.
Love your people. Safe, blessed, and wonderful day. I love you. Love you. That means you don't forget about it. We were on these started much else that concerns the Tennessee
And maybe cereal.
and cereal and
Maybe.
anything else that comes up on these airwaves. So as I always say, we're gonna be talking here.
You're gonna be listening.
Peace.